Hello, it's your Sam again. It's your usual Thursday video. And today I kind of wanted to go over a little bit of southernness. I kind of talked about this a little bit before. I am from the South. I'm from North Carolina, born and raised in the mountains. And I just think it'd be interesting to see some southern phrases that y'all might have heard or that I use or something like that. After this video, I'm going to post on Instagram to see what questions y'all might have or what phrases y'all have heard, so that maybe in a next video I can kind of go over those phrases and some of their history and where they came from, or maybe even what they mean and what context that they're used in, or if they're even used at all. I did a little bit of research, and honestly, in media or basically anything, it's either hit or miss when it comes to Southerners, just like any other area. I mean, if a Southerner was going to do someone from up north, as we Southerners lovingly call you Yankees, then we can get it all wrong too. I'm used to the mountains of Tennessee, North Carolina, and Georgia. There are things that Alabamians say that I haven't a clue where they got that from. I mean, I can still understand it. I can see where they're coming from, kind of thing. And there's some things that Texans and Oklahomans say that I never heard of before. So, I mean, it's all relative to how you were raised, where you were raised, and who raised you, and just what you've kind of been subjected to. And there are things that I never heard of before in my entire life that I didn't hear until I got into college. And I went into a college in a small town, still in the mountains of North Carolina, but it was about 4 hours north of where I was raised. And even just that little bit of distance it was like a different world almost. Without further ado, I want to go over a couple of phrases and everything, and a couple of sayings and a couple of words. So bear with me. This one was the very first one that I found was interesting. Apparently, Alabama and Mississippi have a saying when it's raining while sun shining at the same time that I've never heard of before. I honestly haven't. And whenever there is sun and rain at the same time, this certain section of people, or certain section of Southerners, I should say the devil is beating his wife. I've never heard that. I came across this in a little bit of my research, and honestly, I've mostly heard them called sun showers. Usually it's just, hey, it's raining and the sun's still out. That's what I say. Look for a rainbow. You know that that it's raining while the sun is still out whenever somebody goes, hey, where's the rainbow? Can anybody say the rainbow? That's it. I do say y'all. My whole family says y'all, except for my mama. I don't know why, but she says yuns. It's hilarious. And it didn't really even occur to me that she said yuns instead of y'all until my husband brought it up. It was maybe the second time that I brought him home to meet the parents, kind of thing, because he was all the way from the beach, the Wilmington area, and of course my family is over in the mountains in Murphy, so it's a 8 to 9 hour drive depending on if you're fast or not. So he's like, your mom says yuns, where did that come from? I'm like, I don't know, it's just mom. Yuns is apparently common, but not as common as y'all. All dark fizzy drinks, carbonated beverages, are called Coke, whether it's Pepsi or whatever, it's Coke. Now, with that being said, something like ginger ale is still called ginger ale because ginger ale is medicinal, or it's used in punch. So it's a very specific drink with very specific uses. But other than that, it's mostly just Coke. Clear or yellow carbonated beverages are usually kind of called their name around my house or with me. Sprite, Mellow Yellow, Mountain Dew, stuff like that. And I still find it funny whenever I try not to do this, but you go up to a drive-thru and you're at like Taco Bell or whoever else serves Pepsi products, and you say, what do you want to drink with that? And you say Coke. And then they automatically go, is Pepsi okay? And it's like, well, duh. Why do you ask that? I get it, but at the same time, it's just like, you know this. You ought to know this. Another little thing, there is a little lobster creature that is found in freshwater. And different sections of the South call it different things, and different sections of the country call it different things. I've always known it as a crawdad. Apparently, it has 3 other different names, or 2 other different names. It's crawfish or crayfish. So, but to me, it's always a crawdad. Here in Hickory, there is a baseball team that is called the Crawdad. Around here, it's a crawdad. Another thing is, y'all are gonna laugh at me, but pecan pie. Okay, it can be pronounced pecan, like I say it, or pecan, like Mom says it, or pecan. Yeah, there's different ways of saying it. I say it pecan. Mom says it pecan. Sometimes I say it pecan too. So it just depends on kind of who I'm around, I guess. Another thing that I didn't realize is different is how people say lawyer. I pronounce it with law in it, so lawyer. Apparently, other parts of the country say lawyer or lawyer. I can't even pronounce it how y'all do, but it's like Loyer instead of Lawyer. That is one word where we pronounce it like it's spelled, y'all. Come on. Speaking of like Southern things, there's kind of like a universal or stereotypical Southern thing. There's a lot of them, actually. The fact that we say y'all or something like that. The fact that we call everything Coke. And there's also this commonality between all of us where there are just certain things that Southerners can't stand. And I'm going to go over that a little bit with you. And one is rudeness. This can go with bad manners as well. So if you are talking to an elder and you don't say yes sir or yes ma'am or something along those lines, it's kind of rude, and it kind of can grate on our nerves a little bit. It's just a show of respect, and it's honoring the people that have lived longer than you and have been through more than you have. It's not necessarily that you are beneath them. It's just you knowing that they are in need of respect. Bad manners is like interrupting someone when they're talking. That is one of my pet peeves. And another thing that we kind of hate, it kind of grates on everybody's nerves, whiners. Can't stand whiners. Whiners and braggers are in the same bracket. You will see a Southerner, once they reach here with it, be like, hush your mouth. And the assumption that we talk slow and the assumption that we don't really show excitement very well, or we don't show emotion very well, means that we have no emotion, or that we are slow, or that we have no intelligence. And that grates on our nerves. It grates on my nerves. I know I'm not the smartest person. I know that, okay? But assuming that someone is not smart because of the way they talk it's going to get you in trouble. I mean, I know people who talk worse than I do with a Southern accent and a Southern dialect, and they talk slower than I do, who are 10 times smarter than I am. They can think circles around me, and it's impressive. And the assumption that they are stupid or not intelligent, no. Also, the fact that we're cold-hearted or something like that, there's only like a surface level of emotion there because we don't show it very often, is wrong too, because we don't like bringing attention to ourselves. Most of us don't. It's also the bragging and the whining. Showing emotion can be attached to those two things, or it can be seen as throwing a fit or throwing a hissy or something like that. Yes, we have emotions, but we tend to just keep them to ourselves until we can blow up at home or behind closed doors. Not all of us like Dukes of Hazzard. Not all of us like Deliverance. Not all of us have live like Dukes of Hazzard. Not all of us live like the people on Deliverance. And not all of us are like Sweet Magnolias either, or Steel Magnolias. We have as much variety in people as other parts of the world. Just putting that out there. One of the sayings is like, he or she would drown in a rainstorm. And what that means is that that person is so snobby, their nose is stuck up in the air, so when it starts raining, they're going to drown because the rain will go down their nose and into their lungs, all that stuff. So if you hear somebody tell you that, like, hey, you'll drown in a rainstorm, then that means they think that you're bragging and that you're a snob. It's not a good thing. Snake in the grass. If somebody tells you that this person over here is like a snake in the grass, he or she is like a snake in the grass, that means that they're slippery. They're con artists. They're not good people to be around. They'll reach up and bite you without you even realizing that they're there. Another saying that goes along with the snake in the grass is slicker and owl shit. Not many people know what owl shit looks like, or the texture of it, or anything has like stepped on it while it's on a branch kind of thing while climbing a tree. It's very slick. It's like an oil slick. It's worse. It's like somebody putting Vaseline on a piece of metal and then you try to stand on it, okay? It's slick. So slicker and owl shit is like snake in the grass. They are con artists. They're slippery. It's not good. They're not good people. She's meaner than a wet panther. Let me say that a little bit slower. She's meaner than a wet panther, or meaner than a wet panther. That means that she's bad. She's like a bully. She can make you feel like you're nothing, okay? So steer clear of her or him or whatever. To go with you'll drown in a rainstorm is he or she thinks the sun comes up just to hear them crow. And a lot of stuck up people like to hear themselves talk. So the fact that that person thinks that the sun rises just so, it can light their world, yeah, you're a bit stuck up. So yeah, that's not a good saying either. So another saying that I've heard very often when I'm growing up is, if the creek don't rise. That saying will be there, or will do it as long as something doesn't come up, like a death in the family, or like storms or something like that. We will get it done, or we will be there unless the creek rises. Y'all that have been partial to floods and everything, you know exactly what that means. Another one is I reckon. This is said all over southern U.S. from Texas, Oklahoma, all the way to Virginia, down to Florida. I mean, it's all over. I reckon is kind of a universal southern thing, kind of like y'all. I reckon means I think, or I imagine, or I guess. Sometimes it can be I know, but more than likely it's a little bit on the well, I reckon kind of thing, or well, I reckon we can do that. It's not a surefire, it's not a steadfast yes, I know this. It's more of a I think we can get it done. I'm pretty sure that's the way it is kind of thing. Another one is fixin', like I'm fixin' to, or something like that. Fixin' means that you're getting ready to. You're starting the process of. So I'm fixing to get ready, or I'm fixing supper or something like that. You're starting the process of getting ready, or you're starting the process of fixing supper. I did want to kind of touch base on a few of them, but then I'm gonna do some Instagram questions and everything to get maybe some more phrases or sayings or something that y'all or know or have heard. I hope you like this video, and maybe I'll make a little series of this, you know, go over some of the phrases that relate to certain things, you know, like snobbery or bad people or something like that, if y'all are interested in that. But I just thought that this would be fun. If you are toying with the idea of writing a Southern character, then maybe this will help you out, you know. It's very rare that I get to see some of the common phrases in books about Southerners. I mean, I've read a lot of romance books with Southerners in it. Hardly any urban fantasy books with Southerners in it, but you know what I mean. I know it's because of spelling and you know, the fear of being blown back, but I mean, I'd really like seeing somebody else say, you know, that dude over there is slicker than a snake. I mean, or a snake in the grass, or slicker than owl shit. I mean, come on, y'all are missing out on putting these in your books about Southerners, you know. So that's kind of the reason why I'm doing this, because it's fun to me how this is picked up. If y'all like it, if I get any answers on some of my Instagram posts, or comment down below with some questions or some phrases that y'all hear, and I'll do a little bit of research on them to see where they originated from, or so you can hear a Southerner say it. Alright, y'all have a good day. Keep writing. Stay happy and stay healthy.